Hi, folks. So, you started this whole miniature painting or Warhammer hobby, and you're a bit underwhelmed by the Games Workshop offering for Tufts and grass for your miniatures. And you've seen a whole slew of things at Golden Demon, Adepticon, and all of the Instagram stuff out there. And I've had a few people ask me, where do I get my stuff? So, let's have a look at some of the options for me in the UK where I could go buy stuff to make more interesting bases. So, without any further ado, let's cue the music. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is grass tufts. You can use a static grass applicator if you're doing big bits of scenery, but generally, as miniature wargamers, we want small grass tufts on the bases. We let small bits of flocking material cover any big colour or vegetation, but if we want spiky bits of upwards grass, we tend to use tufts. And the first place I would suggest in the UK is a company called Rival Crafts. They're a small independent company, but they've got loads of cool little tuft designs, flower patches, and things like that. For example, if I go into here, the static grass tufts, and I look at their grass tufts range, you can see for about £5 here, 5-6 quid here, you can see that you're getting a whole amount of different coloured tufts. And compared to Games Workshop, we're talking half the price here. Let's see, how many do Games Workshop sell you? They sell you 125 for a tenner. Let's say I wanted this winter tuft here from Rival Crafts. They will send me in whatever length, that's the height of the tuft that I want, and their standard sheet. We are looking at, there you go, 100 there for 6 quid. Absolute bargain compared to Games Workshop stuff, and you can get them in strips, mini tufts, mixed sizes, all that good stuff. And the more you get discount as you buy more and more and more and more. And you think, but I don't want a standard green. Well, they do a whole variety of different colours. I like using the land stuff on my Ruin bases for my Dark Angels and for my Mad Max Wasteland stuff. Their swamp stuff I really like as well. I've used that on an AOS Kruleboy's army. But it's not just the realistic stuff that they do. You can have the whole fantasy stuff, neon flowers, little campfire tufts. These are really quite cool. Neon red, neon blue, bright colours, alien flower fields. So Rival Crafts, really recommend them. They've got really good customer service as well. I once had the right box but the wrong product inside the box, and when I notified them about it, they sent me the right stuff in the right box and told me to keep the other one, so never complain about that. So really recommend these guys. Had good fun with all their stuff. Love all the little flower tufts as well. I had a friend who used the little flower patches on his sister battle army, and they look fantastic. The other place that's really popular to go to is a place called Gamers Grass. Now, Gamers Grass is really big for popularity, as most of their claim to fame is through the Artist Opus guys. The Artist Opus guys have done a lot of advertisement with them, but just like Rival Crafts, they do a lot of different tufts in different sizes. So if I look in my tufts here, I can say, oh, look at my 2mm tufts. These are quite narrow, but then you can see they've got the same beige, browns, burnt, mossy colours. We go back and see all their grass tufts. You can see they've got all their extra long ones and their mystical nebulas and their bright colours, their neon colours. So lots of different varieties of adding stuff here, but then you see pictures like this, and you think, oh, I really want to be able to replicate stuff like this. I really want to do all that stuff that's up there on the background. This is where something called laser plants comes into effect, and Gamers Grass are pretty much king when it comes to these. So, laser plants are a really cool thing, which are basically photo etched plant shapes, plant leaves, and they are laser cut onto a sheet, and you basically pop them out, cut them out, and then fold them into the shape that you want. And if let's pick this bracken, for example, you can see these are basically laser etched designs that you pop out of a sheet, fold into the right shape, and then super glue down onto your bases. Combine that with grass tufts and cork bark rocks or bits of rubble and ground and stuff, and you will find yourself having some really nice, really naturalistic looking environments. And they all come in these little sheets that you can see here, and you just like pop these out. There you go. You see this down the bottom here. You pop them out and fold them into shape. And of course, they carry basin bits here as well. If you want pre-made resin casted stuff, urban warfare temple bits. If you're going to be doing stuff that's overgrown, this is a really good place to combine with that stuff as well. Rival crafts do a little bit of this, but they tend to be from Spellcrow rather than an in-house stuff. And I always recommend, if you're going to do stuff like this, to go from a company that is doing a small range and is selling lots of that small range as basing bits rather than bases themselves, unless it's a company dedicated to it, because the last thing you want to do, especially with a lot of these resin craft casting companies based in Europe, mainland Europe, you can find that suddenly this really cool bit that you like and you've been using across the entire army doesn't exist anymore, or you can't get hold of it in your country anymore. So that's two websites that we can sit there and go, oh, we got some resin basin bits, oh, we got some grass tufts, I can create some bits and bobs like this. But I want to build some bigger rocks. So we want to go bigger rocks. Cork bark itself. Now if I go to a website here, I'm going to show you a website called Geek Gaming Scenics. Geek Gaming Scenics is a fantastic site. This was built by Luke's Affordable Paint Service. He's no longer part of this, but the company still runs. He had a whole thing on YouTube about building budget tables and stuff, and his stuff is well worth going back and watching. He's got something that I've never seen anybody else do to the same sort of quality or standard, and that's these base ready mixes. This is basically a bag of stuff: sand, rubbles, grass, bits of slate, anything that will represent a natural environment. You can literally put PVA glue down on a base, throw it in the bag, shake it about, take it out again, and it looks like this. It's really great stuff. I've got a friend who uses the pine forest cover stuff. He uses that on his Sylvaneth army, and it looks like he put a lot more effort in than he actually did. But what they do that's really useful in here is they do cork bark. So I look up some cork in here. You can see this bark here, these bark rock faces. If you ever wanted to know how to do these big rock faces or bigger rocks on your models without having to resort to doing plaster casting, then this cork bark is absolutely the best way of doing it. It gets you a really nice rock looking finish, and these are quite big pieces, and one bag will carry you a lot further than you think it does. I ordered two, and I've used a few pieces, and I realized I have an entire unopened bag somewhere. So buy one bag if you're going to do some big rocks or some bark faces. These are really good for dioramas or for bits of larger rocks on larger minis, and you'll find you'll have a lot of fun with these. And they spray up with a primer and they paint up real nicely. And buying them from a place like this, like Geek Gaming Scenics, rather than going out into your local woods, is you don't have to worry about bugs or eggs or drying them out in an oven. It's all done for you. You can just be happy that you're knowing you're buying a safe, clean product for your hobbying. The last thing I want to talk about is the lazy option. The lazy option is sculpted bases. Now, I'm going to use Unreal Wargaming Studios here, because this is the company that I use for my Dark Angels. You've all seen that Sacred Ruins tutorial of mine, which well, seems everyone's seen that at this point. And this is the website that I got them from. They're a really high quality resin casting manufacturer in the UK. And the Sacred Ruins bases is probably their most popular line. But they do 3 main series currently. They do a Ruins, an Urban Rubble, and a Trench Warfare series. And you buy them in bundles, and these are nicely cast. These are all the detail is there for you to paint up, wash, dry brush, whatever you want to do. And then you can use tufts from Gamers Grass or Rivals Grass and fake leaves and whatever, bits of cork to do extra rocks. So if you have these Urban Rubble bases, if you wanted to paint these all up grey and add in little flower tufts and green shrubs and bits of bracken, you get a really nice abandoned building that's been overgrown look. And adding tufts can do a whole lot more. And if you're feeling really lazy and flush with cash, then these are an absolute perfect way to get some diorama looking bases without any of the effort in yourself. I hope that's given you some ideas outside of the, let's face it, rather measly offering from Games Workshop, that you can start moving forward, checking out some videos, and start to really improve your bases. So, I'll see you in the next one, folks.